Tonight on the 7:30 report, brutality in Bangladesh.
I was in tremendous pain. I couldn't move. I couldn't walk.
Shocking allegations of torture and murder against the government of a nation about to receive a boost in Australian foreign aid.
In human rights, Bangladesh is better than many countries.
Oh, this Joan.
And the fallout from the latest property investment crash. Are more investors at risk?
We're going to see more casualties.
Welcome to the program. Bangladesh is one of the youngest countries on earth and also one of the poorest. Poverty exacerbated by more than 3 decades of political instability. That instability took a more sinister turn at the beginning of this year when the military took control, aborting elections and imposing emergency rule. Now the United Nations has accused the country's armed forces of using murder as a means of law enforcement. And human rights activists have painted a picture of people disappearing by the tens of thousands and of soldiers engaged in mass arrests, illegal detention, torture and murder. The horrific revelations come as the Foreign Minister Alexander Downer prepares next week to reveal a 1/3 increase in foreign aid to Bangladesh. The ABC's Southeast Asia correspondent Peter Lloyd, or South Asia correspondent Peter Lloyd, filed this report from the Bangladesh capital Dhaka and a warning that some of the following images are disturbing.
Since January, soldiers have been calling the shots in Bangladesh. Troops took to the streets after democracy was suspended and the military imposed draconian emergency rule. Now, media restrictions are tight. Openly filming soldiers is banned. The army says it took control to clean up a culture of corruption in politics. Dozens of prominent people have been rounded up. But the ABC has discovered evidence of something far more sinister behind the scenes. Human rights groups here contend that as many as 200,000 people have been rounded up by the military since the crackdown began, the size of a small city. Now, there's no way to fully account for their whereabouts. The belief is that most of them are still in military custody. Some have emerged with shocking accounts of abuse, torture and murder.
They tied my 2 hands and feet, and 8 or 9 of them caned me.
Soldiers picked up Protap Jambal on the way home from a wedding. These pictures, he says, are evidence of a beating that lasted more than 4 hours.
I was in tremendous pain. I couldn't move. I couldn't walk. I needed 4 people to carry me.
He showed me how he was forced to lie while up to 8 soldiers took turns beating him with bamboo rods.
I really did not have any thoughts in my head. I kept praying to God and His Son Jesus. I thought that I would die. That's what I thought.
Mr. Jambal wasn't alone. His brother-in-law was also arrested and tortured, but Chalesh Ritual did not survive.
At first they tied both of Cholesh's hands and feet. Then they tortured the soles of feet and all over his body. They unzipped his pants and attached pliers to his penis and to all of his fingers and toes. They put candle wax on the wounds. Then they put water, hot water mixed with dried chili and salt, and poured it all over his body and through his nose and ears.
Attempts by human rights groups to document abuse cases have been met with threats and intimidation, but some refuse to be silenced.
People have been picked up without any kind of evidence, and then they've been tortured.
Farhad Mazar is from a human rights group called Odekar. The organisation says the security forces have killed at least 100 people since January at a rate of almost 1 per day. Those who do emerge from military custody tell a disturbingly similar story.
People complain that their nails have been taken out, they've been tortured very badly.
Military-run interrogation centres operate all over the country. Some are brazenly open. This is Fatullah Stadium on the outskirts of Dhaka. A year ago, Australia played a test match against Bangladesh here. Today, it's military occupied. We filmed early in the morning and for only a few minutes to avoid being detected. One witness, who was too fearful to appear on camera, has described to me how he heard torture victims screaming in agony during a local cricket match. Later in the same day, a senior army officer boasted openly that suspects were far more talkative after they'd been electrocuted, beaten and subjected to water torture.